Hey guys, we're live, and today we're talking about a couple things. But one of probably the hottest topics that we ever talk about ever on any of these Well Fit Wednesdays is fat loss. And specifically, we're listening to airplanes while we talk about this. Specifically, this week we're talking about some fat loss hacks, especially for people who are already actively involved in exercising and eating right. There are actually things that you can do to accelerate what you're doing already. So, if you've got the basics down, which are eating lean protein in adequate amounts and eating lots of vegetables, there are actually ways that you can work out and other things that you can do to accelerate fat loss. Now, keep in mind that if your main goal is fat loss, which a lot of it is going to be for a lot of us because we're going into summer, you're going to sacrifice a little bit of strength, and it's just going to be part of the process because honestly, that's what happens. But if you're on the Facebook page, remember that we're also streaming this on YouTube, so we'll have some extra content there. And if you're on YouTube, we're also streaming this on our Facebook page. So there we go. So I'm just going to skip all the intro stuff and just get right down to it. I have a quick list of 8 things that you can do that will really help you to accelerate your fat loss as you're getting into the season. First one is eat branched chain amino acids when you're not eating to stimulate muscle growth. All of us have times during our average day when don't have time to eat, or we might go through the whole morning, midday without eating, and honestly that can help to compromise some of your muscle tissue. And in the long term, if you're wanting to keep up with long-term sustainable fat loss or to accelerate a little bit more, you really need to keep your lean muscle mass up. So branched chain amino acids, about 5 grams, little caplets. You can get them on Amazon.com, really easy. Hack number 2, sleep 8 to 9 hours a night. We look at all these graphics and all these studies that talk about how if you sleep 6 hours a night, roughly, you're at a higher risk for injury. If you get injured, you won't be able to push yourself as hard to be able to lose fat, or you won't be able to focus as hard as you possibly could, which means that ultimately your long-term goal, or even your short-term goals, are compromised. So 8 to 9 hours a night, besides helping you to stay away from injury, you will also you'll also help your hormonal profile to stay better functioning. Your cortisol will stay at appropriate levels. Your insulin will be able to function the right way, and all that works out to you being able to function and use fat as you should. Number 3, do cardio while you're fasted. So there are some controversial studies back and forth that talk about, should you not, whatever. In my experience, regardless of what the studies say, in my experience, people who do cardio consistently when they're fasted have a tendency to lose more fat. What I mean by that, one of the best times for you to do it would be, this doesn't mean like that you have to not eat for 2 hours or whatever. But I find that people who are doing cardio, if you do it right in the morning when you wake up, before you've done any eating of any kind, those people have a tendency to lose significantly more fat than people who do cardio at any other time during the day. Backed by science or not, I don't know. I'm just saying that from my experience and having worked with a lot of people on this, that morning time where you've already fasted for 8 hours and get out and do it seems to really, really help. So do your cardio right in the morning when you wake up. And exercise phys, we used to have a saying where we said exercise in the morning before your brain knows what your body's doing. So it's a really good way to get in. Plus, there seems to be, and I don't know that the science on this is accurate, but this is just a hypothesis that I'm making. It seems to be that because you don't have so much blood sugar floating around your system, that your body seems to use fat better. Try it for a month. I can almost guarantee you that you'll have better results. Tip number 4, in your weightlifting and cardio frequency, you want to lift weights 3 to 4 days a week for 30 to 45 minutes. You could do a 30-minute session, make it hyper-condensed, as long as it's higher intensity with low rest periods. And then we want you to do 2 to 3 days of 20 to 30 minutes of cardio on top of it. So if you think about it, at an average, we're talking about to be able to help you lose fat really fast for summer, we're talking about roughly, let's say, an hour and a half, 2.5, 3 hours a week of total exercise time. I mean, that's barely anything at all. That's the time that you spend on Facebook looking at people's stuff. 3 hours a week, you can lose a whole bunch of fat just doing the orientation I just told you about. Tip number 5, take a liquid mineral and specifically make sure you get adequate magnesium. Magnesium is a major mineral that's responsible for a lot of muscular contractions, helping people get rid of muscular soreness, helping people recover better, helping your body use everything like fat as a source of fuel better. I specifically like magnesium malate when we're talking about working on your muscle tissue and working with recovery. You can also use forms like magnesium orotate, magnesium glycinate, and you want to stay away from things like magnesium citrate and magnesium oxide because they don't absorb all that well. A lot of times they can help people who sleep better too, so that can kill 2 birds with 1 stone if you take it more at night. Number 6, get sun. So you need adequate vitamin D, and the sun can be really restorative for your body. And besides that, it can help with neurotransmitters and the total functioning of a healthy brain. Number 7, make sure you kill your veggies. Your number 1 priority It's above proteins, above fats, above any of that. If your number one goal is to reduce body fat, you need to eat lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of non-starchy veggies. I asked the dentist one time, I said, if you had the choice between brushing and flossing, what would you pick? And he said flossing, because food can get stuck between your teeth. So if you have the option between getting carbohydrate or getting protein, getting fat or getting vegetables, you need to pick the vegetables and get in as many as you can. Number 8, this is our last one. Focus on squeezing every last possible repetition you can out of each set when you're in this phase. So we usually tend to have people want to work in the 8 to 12 repetition range if your main goal is to lose fat, because you can put in low rest periods, shove all your sets way together so you can get in a ton of volume and a ton of intensity in a very short amount of time. But when you do those sets, you need to mentally challenge yourself. An 8 to 12 rep exercise is way more mentally challenging than it is physically challenging. Okay, so what I mean by that is that if you're doing 12 rep squats as an example, by the time you're getting to 8 to 10, if you're going with a slow tempo on the way down and really working it, your brain is going to be telling you to stop, because your muscles should be burning so bad that it wants you to stop. But you need to keep going. Push through the reps, fight for form really, really, really hard, and allow that endurance to be there. And then you'll take your exercises and you'll superset an upper and a lower exercise together if your main goal is fat loss. Because if you think about it, you actually get to spend a half an hour with all of your muscles working the whole time. So a good pairing would be, you'll do 12 squats, really slow on the way down, 4 seconds on the way down, stand up, 4 seconds on the way down, stand up. Work that until you feel like you want to fall over. As soon as you get done with that, go into push-ups, and you do 4 seconds on the way down, 1 second on the way up. Push that all the way to 12. As soon as you get done, and by now you should be completely gassed, you're going to grab the bar again, put it on your back or your front, and go for another set of 12. Guarantee you, if you rock through 30 minutes of an exercise session like that, there's no way you cannot lose fat or be exhausted. But really, it's a mental challenge of trying to push yourself through it. So the other thing that we wanted to talk about is that, and you're going to find a link if you're on Facebook in the comments below. If you're on YouTube right now, you're going to find in the comments section here, we're doing something, the first time we've ever done this WellFit Life. We're going to be having an online fat loss coaching program. And so that's going to include access to a Facebook page that's going to be exclusive just to the members. It'll have detailed videos with how to do the exercises. It'll have, I'll be weighing in and giving tips as we go along and helping people along their journey. But the crazy part about this is that the coaching itself is $30 a month, which is way less expensive than anything else that we do. So if you're wanting to kind of dip your feet in the water and get used to some of this stuff, send us an email and then click the link, sign up, tell people about it. It'd be really cool to do a fat loss challenge with you and your friends, and you can go from there. So again, click the link if you're interested in that. Send us any emails if you have any questions. Apply the tips that we just gave you, and you should be a lot further on your way to losing fat and getting more in the shape that you want to for the summer. Other than that, hope you have a great night, and we'll see you next week on WellFit Wednesday.